Sup everyone, just some more new dude here, and I'm once again joined by Fictional Media Bully, Alana and Gilbert, and today we're all going to discuss another character who we all regard very fondly, Lola Loud.
Oh yes, Lola Loud, baby.
Yeah, FMB's favourite character. Yeah.
Lo and behold, the princess.
Yeah. So I'll let you start with this one, Dossa, since she's your favourite character.
Oh yes. So oh my gosh, Lola Loud is I love all the characters in the Loud House, in the house, but out of all the characters, Lola is the one I fell in love with from the beginning. Like, I saw her character design and I said, I want you to be the best character ever. And would you know it? She is the best character in the Loud House.
You said the best character ever. That means in anything. That's
No. In the Loud House, I have some characters I like maybe a little more, but in the Loud House program, Lola is easily my favorite. She's the one and only character who was consistently good from start to finish.
Pretty much.
And yet, still improves.
Yeah, even as far back as season 1, and we know in the first season some of the sisters didn't really get that much development. They were very much just antagonists, but Lola, right from the word go, is one that got really excellent character growth, and was just really entertaining and fun to watch right from the start. And I suppose part of that is also down to Gray Griffin's vocal performance. She's a really talented, really experienced voice actor who really brings out the best life in the character. So right from the start, she had that.
Lola's voice kind of nearly sounded like Princess Azula.
Well, yeah, I suppose that probably is part of it, because Azula is an actual princess and also very aggressive. I wouldn't be at all surprised if they did kind of base Lola on a younger, more feminine Azula. That may be what they were going for.
Except the temper.
Gray Griffin also voiced Vicky from The Fairly Odd Parents, which is probably where Lola got her demented side from.
Probably. Gray Griffin's been around quite a lot, but yeah.
I mean, I hate The Fairly Odd Parents, but Vicky is kind of an entertaining character in that program, so there you go.
Yeah, I've never really watched much of Fairly Odd Parents, so I can't comment, but yeah.
How about Frankie Foster?
Yeah. But obviously, right from the start, in season 1, you've got episodes like Under Pressure, where, obviously she was the main antagonist in that story, but you see not only sort of a competitive psychotic side when she's covered in runny makeup, but also you see her more a fair and reasonable side when Lincoln legitimately, he loses the bet to Lily, doesn't he? But it looked like he was going to win, but then he lost, and then, now I think about it, Under Pressure is kind of Under Pressure is kind of ripped off an Ed and Eddie episode, where they're in school and they do a bet to see who can get rid of their habits the longest, and it plays out exactly the same. Eddie thinks he's won, and it turns out Ed actually won, and it's done the exact same way to Lincoln and Lily in this episode. But obviously Lola shows her a much more reasonable and sort of decent side when she says, "Look, let Lincoln have his habit. We all have ours. It's only fair."
It makes Under Pressure is one of my favorites. Not just for the ending, it's also for just how entertaining the competition is.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I pretty
funny.
Yeah. And from the same season, you also have one of the absolute standouts of the first series, A Tattler's Tale, which is still probably among my favourites to this day.
Tattler's Tale is easily the best episode of season 1. It unquestionably is.
Well, for me, I still prefer Space Invader, but yeah.
Space Invader is a close second. Yeah. It really is. But the Tattler's Tale has more chemistry. It has just the slightest bit better animation, with some very inspiring scenery here and there, like Lola looking like she's in a jail cell at the end. Like the way it's lit, it's just really, really good.
And I think she was wearing a jail outfit for some reason in that scene or something.
Yeah.
It's why was she wearing that? Did they make her wear it?
it's like apparently according to Lenny in some kind of podcast, like that's her favorite outfit Lola wore or something like that.
Right, maybe it was a fashion
Jumpsuit?
choice then.
It's pretty funny.
I
Yeah.
always find Space Invader funny because you can tell that there's that evil side of Lola.
Yeah.
Huh?
I always
well-
find Sound of Silence funny because you could totally see that evil side of Lola all the time.
Yeah. Well,
Oh,
to
yeah,
be fair,
Sound of Silence.
Oh yeah.
Sound of Silence is brilliant. It's very good.
I mean, well, to be fair, with Sound of Silence, they deliberately made up those stories about Lola to really scare Lincoln. So it's sort of like intentionally sort of false, like she's not really that bad. Or well, maybe the stories really happened, but I think that it was implied that they made them up.
I really hope that they are made up stories because burying Lana's frog, essentially killing it. My gosh,
That's like animal cruelty.
No.
it's like Lola's a murderer.
Yeah.
It would be so awful if that was
Yeah,
true.
I don't think she'd really do
But
that over getting her eye
However-
makeup wrong, but
However, the very peak angry Lola here is mostly on Along Came His sister. And you know what her twin sister Lana said? You know what she's capable of.
Oh man,
yeah.
it's also it's like from Sound of Silence. I'm sure you remember the bit where just because Laurie didn't say "bless you" to Lola sneezing, like her selfie gets ruined in that kettle or like saucepan or something.
Yeah.
It's like I once did an edit.
No,
I once did.
Lola
I once did.
actually put Laurie's phone on that.
Yeah, I did an edited video where it's like actually instead of a selfie, what if it was a bomb?
Ooh.
Yeah. Like that's the thing. What's funny is like they sort of bring up for humour's sake that Lola can be like this really evil, threatening little girl, but obviously, really, she's not that evil. When you actually look at her, she often has a very harsh assessment of herself. Like she says, "I'm a terrible person" in one episode, but not really. I mean, she has her character flaws, but she's really not
she
a
said
bad
it in
person.
2 episodes.
Yeah. One was Prize Fighter, wasn't it?
Yeah, the prize fighter was the second one. The first one was Gan and that. It's like no, I don't have a condition, unless you count being a terrible person.
Yeah. Well, it is what it is. I mean, it seems that she's well aware of her own character faults, but yeah. It's sort of implied that because it's implied that the pageant business is like a cutthroat industry, and like she had to get that way to get to where she is, maybe.
Possibly.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good theory.
Yeah, it's often said.
Yeah.
That's often said about pageanting. Obviously, I've never fully done it because I'm an adult male. Why the hell would I do it? But, yeah.
Actually, the episode Sister Act did show a fat boy in the pageant.
Yeah, which is weird.
Oh, I think I remember that.
Yeah.
It's
Or
like
even Lincoln.
it's like men do partake in pageants.
Yeah. But with Lola, like obviously in the early seasons, they made out she had a rival in Lindsay Sweetwater, which she was briefly brought up in a Tatler's Tale, but then that never really went anywhere again after that. They did do that a lot. The Loud sisters the Loud siblings don't really have a lot of rivals when you think about it, which is strange. But yeah,
Lynn Jr. for some reason doesn't have rivals.
yeah, that's just bloody weird. But it is what it is. Yeah. I mean, you could bring in Becky from the Casa Grandes. Originally, people thought Ronnie Ann back when she was in Royal Woods. Or you could just bring in Babs Bestie, but that's another thing.
Actually, this is the funny thing. Lola's supposed to be this evil girl in season 1, and yet in April Fool's Rules, she's intimidated enough by Luann to soil herself.
Well, I think it's implied that like Luann becomes some sort of Kevin from Home Alone crossed with John Kramer from Saw when it turns to April Fools.
Soil herself twice. The first one was actually. I mean, Lola did soil herself in April Fool's Rules, but she did also soil herself in Change of Heart.
Oh, I remember that.
Really?
I haven't watched
After All or something like that.
Yeah. I haven't rewatched Change of Heart in a long time because I don't like it, but yeah, maybe.
I honestly, I've watched Change of Heart a few times and I don't remember Lola soiling herself.
It might have been a blink and you'll miss it moment where they downplayed it, but yeah.
I remember her saying she had to go to the bathroom and then she was like, never mind, and left or something like that.
Doesn't need to tinkle after it all.
Okay, maybe. Okay.
In the mirror.
Yeah.
Talking to herself in the mirror.
Okay, that might make sense, and but yeah, and then after A Tattler's Tale, I think her next big episode was Read Aloud, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
And in that one, obviously, even though it has some big continuity errors, it's still a very strong story, and it does kind of show, Lola's more vulnerable side. A girl as sort of smart and as cunning as her. She didn't know how to read, and instead of actually confronting it, she was too sort of ashamed to, express it out loud, and so she just tried to not partake in what the rest of the family was doing.
There was actually some plot hole over that episode, though.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it's a continuity error because in episodes previous to that, we saw Lola reading books and stuff, so. Obviously, that was a retcon done specifically for the sake of the plot.
It was a couple of episodes. I think it was what was the episode? It was about Ties That Bind, where there is a moment where Lola reads what was on Lincoln's food or whatever. It's like, you can read? I am more than just a pretty face, Lincoln.
Oh, that's what it was. Yeah. So obviously, back then the continuity was very shady at best. So it's just kind of something you can expect.
The thing about Read Aloud. Here's the thing about Read Aloud. It is an amazing episode, despite the second season.
Yeah, the second season really did to go against continuity. You'd have Lucy going out of Rocky Spokes, and a few episodes later, she's got a new crush and stuff like that.
The continuity in season 2 is just dreadful at times. It's unbelievable.
Obviously, the show wasn't really going for a continuity-heavy approach back then. They've improved on that since season 3 onwards. I'd say for the most part.
It's almost like
the whole benefited the show, definitely.
It's almost like the whole point of making more seasons is to improve on these aspects.
Yeah, it is what it is.
And it's like the thing about Read Aloud. It's like, okay, fair enough. It retcons Lola's ability to read. I would probably be fine with that if reading was a continuous problem Lola faced from then on.
Yeah.
But it's resolved very quickly, so it's like, okay, holistically speaking, what's the point?
Yeah. What's the point, I guess, is a really good episode that focuses on Lola and Lincoln, and yeah.
It's a good thing it was a very good episode. If it was a misfire, then you could easily skip it.
Yeah. But it's one of those, so obviously, yeah, with Lola, and I guess, here's the thing with Lola, apart from the fact she's always had great character growth and lots of good focal episodes and a really good voice actor, I guess it's just the fact that she was never as one-dimensional as the other siblings back then. Because with Lola, right off the bat, okay, on the surface, what is she? She's in a pink gown, she's got a tiara, she's like a little spoilt pageant girl, princess, girly type. But there's a lot more depth to her and nuance than that, even as far back as season 1. She shares a lot of Lynn's aggression and competitive nature. She's the family's best burper, apparently, which is kind of a funny gag because you wouldn't expect that.
She doesn't burp anymore, but no. There you go.
But then you've got other things like in the recent seasons, you'll notice her and Lana actually get along a lot more than they used to. In the early seasons, they would always argue and fight all the time. In the more recent series, they seem to be very They're actually best friends with each other. They really understand each other and hang out all the time and enjoy each other's company, which is interesting because obviously Lana is the polar opposite of her.
Especially notice that in the episode Double Trouble.
Yeah. And there was also, was it? I think it was a different episode where they they could sense where each other are and they could smell where each other are or something, which was interesting. I forgot which episode that was.
Yeah.
Training day.
Oh, that was a training day.
Yeah.
Training day with Lana and Stella's rabbit.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I didn't even know Stella had a rabbit, but now she now has a twin of rabbits.
Yeah, and they're these like really hyper aggressive, nasty little things. But yeah.
and the fact that the twins had their own unusual language.
It's kind of weird how season 5 is the one to establish that. It's like, shouldn't this been established earlier? It's like,
Yeah.
like the only episode I can think of where there's even a hint of it was T-Tail Heart, where Lana just keeps coming to these places Lola's been.
Yeah. I mean, with Lana and Lola, they waited for a long time to do a lot of things with them. Like, what was the episode? Was it Sister Act from season 4, where they were pretending to be each other? And you're like,
oh yeah.
You think that episode should have happened way back in season 1, in terms of, like, conceptually, but it took them 4 seasons to do it.
Yeah.
No, instead we had Toads and Tiaras back then, which, while not without its issues, is an early masterpiece for the program.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a very strong episode.
Here's one question. What are your thoughts about Lola's sugar addiction?
Oh my gosh, like...
Well, he really
no
loves
spoilers.
Candy Crushed, so there is that. And
There was no spoilers where, she's making a cake and just only goes as fast as Sonic and decides, still not
Sugar
sweet
rush.
enough.
Yeah.
Lola went full-blown sugar rush.
Yeah.
Gotta go fast. Gotta go fast.
Yeah, maybe you could make
Gotta
a
go faster,
Sonic the Hedgehog
faster,
style
faster,
Lola
faster.
And
game.
here's a funny thing. I don't know how she actually swallowed that whole bunt even to this day.
Swallow that whole what?
Bunt.
Oh, the
The
bun
cake.
cake.
Yeah.
Actually, I think I heard Lindsay say, did she even chew that thing?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's like the
Did he
strangest
actually
thing.
say that?
Yeah, I think I remember
No.
that.
Yeah. Yeah. Did she even chew that thing?
It's hilarious. You just have such good dialogue. Like that was season 7, by the way. Candy Crush is like probably season 7, like one of season 7's best episodes.
Oh, easy, yeah.
Yeah.
It's like
Chew that?
like my favorite episode of season 7 is Child's Play by far, but actually Candy Crush is Child's Play and Candy Crush are tied really.
Yeah, I mean,
Man, I
there's
haven't
quite a
played
few
Candy Crush
great
for a
episodes
year.
from season 7, but yeah. But here's the thing with Lola, like, you can just, bring up, like, almost practically any episode where she's the main focus, and it ranges from great to outstanding, and you're like...
The worst episode she was probably in was Patching Things Up, and even then it was still good.
Yeah, it just had a really pointless subplot with Lincoln and Clyde, but yeah.
Patching Things Up is proof that the Loud House's writing in its early days was not too far off Family Guy.
Well, no, because Family Guy never had very likeable characters at all, so there you go.
I mean, I don't mean as
Yeah,
in
they were all toxic.
I don't mean as in likable characters. I mean how you have like jokes that don't relate to the story, like a lot of the time.
Well, I suppose Lincoln and Clyde subplot jokes still have a little bit of relation because they're going to like the same scout camp that Lola and Lana were at. Whereas like Family Guy, you can literally just have them go, you think, yeah, remember the time when I did this? And then it just cuts away to something completely random.
Here's the thing: the Lincoln and Clyde subplot was interchangeable. You could change it with something else, and nothing.
Oh
would
yeah,
be
yeah.
different.
Don't get me wrong; it was still still pointless. You didn't need to have it. But yeah, I'm just saying it did have some relation to the episode's plot, I suppose.
And then, funnily enough, after Patching Things Up, there wasn't really. They didn't really have a duo, like a twin episode until Sister Act, which, to be fair, I think should have been called Twin Act. But there you go. Yeah, it's like, they didn't have a moment together in season 3.
Well, no, because I suppose Lana was a bit under focused on in season 3. As much as it's my favourite season, that is one flaw we've pointed out with it.
Yes, Lana getting only one episode, and it was mediocre at best.
Yeah, well, you kind of overhate the episode, but yeah.
What were your thoughts of Lola in Stripe of the Party?
Huh?
Which one of us are you asking?
What were your Stripe of the Party, the
Oh,
twins' birthday?
She's a very good character in that one.
Yeah.
Like how she's basically the role of the character who doesn't really look at the bigger picture, even though she thinks she is.
Yeah.
It's like Lola has controlled like what 5 or 6 birthdays,
Including the one when they were still in the womb, apparently, which doesn't even make any sense.
Yeah.
But you plan a party every year, even before we
Yeah.
were born.
Yeah, that doesn't even make any sense. Like, how could you're not even
Not
born? You
even
can't have a
possible.
birthday. You're not born yet.
They're like fetuses still.
Yeah, that doesn't that doesn't make any sense. But yeah,
How did they get away with that? Like a shot in the womb.
I suppose it's nothing that bad about it. Well, remember in the earlier seasons they had a shot of Lincoln and Lynn as kids naked in the bath together.
Oh,
Remember
Really?
that? Yeah, there was an episode. I think it was
Oh,
around
I
season
remember
2.
that.
yeah.
What was that one?
I can't remember the episode now, but it was what I think it was the episode where
The whole
Lincoln and
picture?
Clyde lost all their photos. And
It was
they
called
tried
The Whole Picture, I think.
Yes, that's it.
Whole
And you see a picture from like Lincoln and Lynn when they were really young, and they were just like, basically, you don't obviously you only see them from like the waist up, but they're basically just naked in a bath together.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
Oh no. God.
yeah. So that happened.
I did not see that honestly. It's just
It was on screen for like a second, and yeah.
Probably a quick adult joke or something like David. Though, you not want to think of it like that.
No. Yeah, it is what it is. But yeah, so they have got away with doing stuff like. I mean, they got away with. I'm noticing a complete lack of balls in this room gag as well. So.
I mean, to be fair, like even a quick glimpse of a picture of Lincoln and Lynn in the bathtub is nothing compared to the Rugrats episode "Naked Tommy" from 1993 or 4.
Right.
Oh gosh.
Mm.
In that one, they literally show Chucky's naked bum at the end.
Right.
I'm gonna pretend you didn't say that.
Yeah.
Oh my
That's a bit
gosh!
weird,
It's like
but yeah.
it's like Nickelodeon was a bit more risky in the 90s than it is now.
Yeah. Well, I
Yeah,
suppose.
but-
Well, there
because
weren't
of
as
what-
many restrictions and stuff back then. Things were different.
Yeah,
But yeah, going back to Lola, it's like the thing is with her, you can point to any season. You don't even really have to like go through them all season by season because she's been great since the start. You can point to anything. You can point to Read Aloud from season 2. You can point to Gown and Out from season 3. You can point to Sister Act from season 4 or A Star Is Scorned from season 4. You can point to Strife of the Party from season 5. You can point to season 6's Love Stinks, season 7's Candy Crushed. Season 6's Prize Fighter. You can literally point to pretty much any episode that she's a main part of and say that was a great Lola episode.
yeah, but Lola is like one of those characters that got better over time. Alana, I think you said sometime that Lola really started to shine in season 4.
Yeah, definitely. Well, like in every season, I agree. Like every season, she has had like good episodes. Like I can't really recall any that were bad, and I think her character has gotten better. But yeah.
Season 4 is like she did become a bit more 3-dimensional again, like a bit more challenged, a bit more vulnerable. Like the vulnerable side of things shows more often. Like she was very good in Community to Service, especially. Like I love Community to Service. It's one of my favorites. It's
Same.
it's like she like, Melly is such a great like character. Like give her one more episode, writers. I love her.
Yeah, maybe they will. Maybe they'll take them to a London boarding school or something.
Oh my gosh! Don't even mention that.
Yeah.
Oh.
Like it's funny. I talked to just some ordinary dude last year when we were conceptualizing a Loud House video game, and I said, if Lola Loud was one of the playable characters, I would like her to play like classic Tomb Raider.
Yeah. And then of course just after that they did in the episode Screen Queen an episode where Lola kind of is acting like a bit of a Tomb Raider.
Lara Croft.
Yeah, and it's like
except she's not packing heat.
Yeah, but yeah. So apparently they could do that, but yeah, I think
I'm sure you remember this. You remember my small video called Dakota Rhoda 3 Adventures of Lola Loud, Dude and Alana. You remember that?
I remember that.
Vaguely, yeah.
Yeah.
It was me basically saying, you know what, I kind of want to pay homage to Tomb Raider 3 on PS1, which is a bastard hard game. One of the hardest games I played on my first go.
Yeah.
Like Tomb Raider 3 will make you go insane. I'm not even kidding, especially the London levels. I almost rage quit in the London levels.
Yikes.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's so like it's like, man, it's like if there was a Loud House game where they did have multiple playstyles, it's like, oh, Lincoln is the easy mode, Laurie is the pathetically easy mode, Luann is probably the medium mode, maybe Lana, Lola, bastard hard.
Yeah. Why not?
Or extreme.
Yeah, it is what it is. I don't think they'll ever do a Loud House video game at this rate, but whatever.
It would be hilarious. Like, oh, Lola's like the girl in pink. It's like, okay, I'm going to try out. She's probably the easiest. And then the game just throws her into a brick wall and says, no. This is the hardest part of the game.
Yeah. Why not? Yeah, that would make sense. Yeah.
And it's like, why is this so hard? I'll tell you why. Because Lola is a martial arts expert.
Yeah, pretty much.
Like, as early as Lock and Loud.
Oh yeah, she doesn't actually do any martial arts. She basically just tackles the doll and rips it apart. Yeah.
And then in really loud music, you do see her doing a pretty sweet kick.
Yeah, and then obviously there's the end of A Star Is Scorned where she like beats up an entire dojo worth of equipment and assaults Miss Carmichael.
Oh man.
Yeah. She could have committed assault right there.
Yeah.
She could have been charged for assault.
It's a shame that It's a shame
It's
we
like,
haven't
yeah,
seen
exactly.
much of Lola, Carl, and Adelaide together because they could do a big karate thing. That would be cool.
Yeah, we can only see what
I would love that.
Yeah,
the strange relationship between Lola and Carl.
yeah.
The Lola Carl dynamic is like one of the most underrated parts. Like,
Well,
in a sense that
Well, they don't.
You
It's
don't
hardly
see it
ever
often.
there. You only get little brief scenes of it, so I suppose it's very underexposed so far. Which is why
There's
I would love an episode where you get the four of them together: Lola, Lala, Carl, Adelaide. Just put the four of them together. I'm sure you could make a great episode out of it.
it's just that when they do appear, they're more often than not the best parts of their episodes. Like,
Well, yeah.
especially parts.
I mean, Party Foul was a very
Oh, yeah.
mediocre kind of mundane episode that didn't need to exist. But I will admit the Carl and Lola part was pretty funny.
That was like the only part I liked of Party Foul.
Yeah, it was pretty boring otherwise.
Party Foul is the worst episode of season 7. Like, it's one thing to give Sergio an episode. It's like,
Yeah.
all right, that's random. But
Yeah.
when the episode itself is like very standard with no interesting twists, and it's kind of a
just
bit boring in its
Like,
writing.
Yeah, it's just very boring, honestly. And it's like you've got so
Yeah,
many
that's
Casagrandes
what-
characters we want to see more of, and it's like, oh yeah, Sergio's not really at the top of the list, but whatever.
If you think about it, Party Foul is the third in a trilogy of episodes. Like, the first one, Pets Peeved, the second one, Lovebirds, and the third one, Party Foul. And funnily enough, Party Foul is easily the weakest.
Yeah. Well, because it's mostly just focused on Sergio, and yeah, he's basically a C-grade Yargo, and even Yargo could be a bit annoying at times.
Like, oh, bats!
A D
Why
rated
does it always
Diablo.
have to be bats?
Yeah.
Like a D rated Iago.
Yeah, pretty much.
I
Probably.
mean, he's all right in the spin-off, just not in the Loud House.
Well, to be honest, even in the spin-off, he got a lot of fucking focus from what I remember of it, and I was like, it's a bit much, you know.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, both
He does
the
have-
Loud
he
House
does
and the
have some good
Casagrandes
lines, though.
has a bit of a problem with its character focus, but that's another thing.
But yeah, actually, if someone asks me what is my favorite episode of the Loud House, obviously Time Trap, but they'll probably be more specific and say favorite 11-minute episode. It's like, all right, Sister Act.
Fair enough.
Sister Act is so well written. Alana, Sister Act.
Yeah, I do really like that episode. It's one of the best of season 4, actually.
It's easily the best episode of season 4. It's so good.
For me,
like,
there are
Game
a
Off
couple
and
of
Community Service are up there, but Sister Act is just on another level.
Yeah. I mean, for me, my favourites are Game Off and probably maybe A Dark and Story Night.
Oh, Dark and Story Night is brilliant.
Yeah, that was. I think that's a big fan favourite for people in season 4.
But I'm just saying, Sister Act, it's very well written. Almost every line is memorable in some way because of Grey Griffin's excellent performance, and like there's just a lot of chemistry. It's just amazing. Grey Griffin is like given the task to voice 2 characters that are prominent focus.
3. Lily. Lily is voiced by her as well.
I don't remember Lily in Sister Act, but all right.
Oh, sorry, you just talked about Sister Act. Yeah.
It's just so good, like especially at the end where it's like they learn about responsibility.
Yeah. And of
That's
course,
a great lesson for kids too.
Season 4 is when Lola started to push forward the theme of responsibility in its narratives.
Yeah, but I suppose
you have a lot more episodes from season 4 onwards of characters who are obviously flawed and have selfish habits, but they realize this is not how it should be, and they learn their lesson.
Yeah, but it's like, if we're going to talk about Grey Griffin, I mean, again, go back to season 5, Strife of the Party. I mean,
oh man,
as much as I have a couple of issues with it, I will say the episode is greatly elevated thanks to one thing: Grey Griffin's amazing vocal performance as both twins.
It's amazing.
I mean, the scene where Lana finds out about Lola and they have that confrontation, and it's like Grey Griffin absolutely voice acts her heart out here, like, you know, playing both twins, and she manages to like captivate you so well with the whole thing that's going on between them, and you're like, wow, this is really good stuff. And she made that episode for me.
It's not fair, Lola. It was my turn.
Yeah, and that's another thing. Like,
I feel
that's amazing.
And that's an interesting thing because, like, if you compare Lana and Lola, obviously Lola is the prim and proper one, but she's also the sort of very aggressive and ambitious one. And Lana, you could actually argue, might be the more vulnerable of the two. Like, well, they both have a bit of emotional vulnerability, but yeah, Lola seems to be more forceful, if that makes sense. Like, tries to be a bit more dominant between them.
How is it the dirty Lana is a lot more well behaved?
Yeah, because Lola can be a bit of a psycho at times.
Oh man, it's
with Lola's eyes being dilated out of anger.
Well, even in like the more recent episodes, we still get glimpses of like Lola being sort of like this really feared sister. Like, was it season 7's? What's the one with Lily's friend Ingrid in it? What's the name of the episode? The one where Welcome to the Doll Heist. Yeah, and I think at the very end of that episode, like all the siblings are waiting outside Lola's room, and they all just run half a mile away when they realise she's going to get angry about her lost toy or something.
Yeah, she.
Oh yeah.
Like they're all still terrified of her.
Unit.
Yeah. And in one episode,
why do you smell the cinnamon or whatever?
And they all just run a mile away. And then obviously there's the other episode where Lisa says something like, I've got all my robots and my army of gadgets and weapons and stuff, and there's still no match for Lola's wrath.
Man, like the scene in the quick thought Lily had in Welcome to the Doll Heist, where Lola just goes red and blows up the house roof.
Yeah,
that was insane.
That's probably how a lot of them see her sometimes.
Yeah, Lana's got a point. You never know what she's capable of.
No,
it's such a funny moment, and also season 6 in Loud Cloud, was it? I think it was. You have like a minor running gag where like as soon as a new like app is introduced, like they use on their phone, Lola like uses it, and they're like, that wasn't just a test, was it?
No. It's just one of them, isn't it? Where
that was hilarious.
Loud Cloud is another brilliantly written episode. Like, dude, I think even I think one time he managed to interact with Andrew Brooks a bit. He said that was
He
his
said it
favorite
was
episode.
the favorite episode that he worked on. I asked him
I
what
don't
his
blame him.
favorite.
It's so good.
Yeah, I asked him what his favorite episode was that he did, and I think he said the Loud Cloud. Yeah, he said that was his favorite one that he worked on.
I don't blame him. It's really good.
Fair enough. I mean, yeah.
It's so funny. It's basically a better version of that one episode from season 2, Antisocial.
Right.
Oh yeah,
I mean,
because
that's
it's kind of like technology and stuff.
Antisocial is good, but the Loud Cloud is like, yeah, it's more focused on the technology. But then they're like, you know what? There are ways we can innovate on our lifestyle without using technology.
Yeah, fair enough.
It's like, yeah, it's very like, this is one of the things I really like about the Loud House. It's a cartoon in this like social media era, and yet it still like discourages it. You still see Lincoln hanging out with his friends. Like they don't just like talk on the phone all day or whatever. Like you still see actual like human social interactions. Just something that has been lost to humankind in recent years.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah,
that's the thing. In real life, like a lot of like pubs and clubs and bars and shit are closing because people just don't go out and socialise anymore. The world has got used to socialising online and staying indoors nowadays.
Got smaller nowadays.
Yeah. Everyone does get very glued to their phones.
It's quite depressing, actually.
Yeah, because it's like, yeah. If you actually go, like, I don't know if you actually ever go like into a pub or anything. It's very quiet a lot of the time.
Not the pub where I am.
Well, when I went to that one that you're at, I mean, you were like the only one in there. I mean, okay, it was the middle of the day, but
but trust me. Sometimes when Dad goes there, it is packed.
Yeah.
Like, I remember last year, like when I went into the pub, there were so many people there, so it's not going away anytime soon.
No, well, apparently they are somewhere because a lot of pubs are closing down, but that's another thing.
But yeah, Sister Act is like I said, my favorite episode. Like Lola and Lana's best episode, even though Double Trouble is like up there as well. Double Trouble is so good.
Thank you.
And Strive for the Party, as brilliant as it is, I do have one issue. And that is the underdeveloped ending.
Yeah. Well, I have a couple of issues with it, but yeah.
Here's the thing about the ending is it is good, but it does miss an opportunity on some chemistry and slapstick. Like you miss an opportunity to show the bull like hurting the kids. You miss an opportunity of like the unhygienic decorations potentially making giving some kids a cold or something. Like just kind of a missed opportunity to make it that much funnier for kids.
I think some of the worst infections that you can imagine.
It's like one of those.
But it's a one-time thing. It's like, hey, yeah, Loud House, if you're going to give Lana another birthday party, can you focus more on the go-karts?
Yeah, that would be pretty funny.
Right.
I mean, I will admit, it is as much as I understand what the message of Strive for the Party was, that Lola shouldn't be so controlling and let Lana have a go. At the same time, I am looking at like what party Lana created, and I'm like, would all the guests really be okay with this? Is it even healthy?
Well, you know what they say. The more
the merrier.
One person's trash is another's treasure.
Yeah, but how many of those kids would really like actual trash as food and party decorations?
Well, kids like fart jokes, so there you go.
Okay, so if you went to a party, would you eat trash? Yeah?
No.
No, exactly. There you go then.
I would have sounded like a raccoon if I did that.
Yeah. Exactly.
It's obviously just decoration, like the trash. Like Lana appreciates it as an art form.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. You don't see much of anything else there, so you do wonder what they're expected to eat.
It's probably just a regular party, like not much to eat, really.
Yeah, I don't know. But, yeah, it is what it is. I still like Strive for the Party, don't get me wrong. But, yeah, the thing is, we're about 40 minutes in, so we'll... I mean, with Lola, we could go on about how great her character is for hours, probably. There's been so much the show has done.
She's especially good in like her best season by far is season 6. She's really good in season 6. Alana, I mean, you have Double Trouble, The Last Laugh, Prize Fighter, Crown and Dirty, and Love Stinks.
Oh yeah.
Oh my gosh, the last laugh is really good. I love that episode.
The
That's my
Last
favorite season
Laugh
6 episode.
The Last Laugh is so good. It's one of my favorites. It's very well written. The chemistry between Luann and Lola is so wholesome and like well defined. Like, and also Lola's allegedly line. Like never can get tired of that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also,
It's
Love
like
Stinks is really good.
allegedly.
Yeah.
Not to mention the one scene. Last Laugh has one of my favorite scenes in Loud Us where it's just the two girls walking back home during the night. It's just so wholesome. It's so charming.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
like
Yeah,
I
it was
mean-
nice to see them like getting along because you wouldn't really expect it, and I just like how they kind of got along in this episode.
you don't see this often in the early seasons. I'm just saying.
Right.
The chemistry, the dynamics, there's so much more life invoking. There's so much more varied and interesting nowadays.
Fair enough. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, yeah. I mean, just to sort of wrap up. Yeah.
And also, just one more thing, like two more things actually, like Prize Fighter, like actually three more things, like Prize Fighter, that one scene where Lola says she's a terrible person. Chef's kiss. Very well acted.
Yeah.
Very well paced. Perfect. Absolutely perfect. And also one of those episodes that takes a hint from Winner Takes All, where the ending shows the development and doesn't just say it before it ends.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also Crown and Dirty. Crown and Dirty has some of the best animation I've seen in modern television. It's so life invoking. It's so man, if the Golden Age animators from the 40s and 50s were still alive and could see this, they would be impressed.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Don't get
It's
me wrong. All the
so-
recent seasons have some really stunning animation.
I mean, like here's the thing. I really enjoy programs like Amphibia and the Owl House, but the animation in those can be very stiff and
From
robotic
what I've
at times,
seen, a
especially-
lot of the animation in those
Yeah.
shows is really good. But then again, I've only
like,
watched bits of it.
Like the Owl House has some very good animation early on, but there's noticeably budget restrictions as it goes along. And when you get to the final few like episodes that were supposed to be season 3 but were like crunched, like the action scenes are very well directed and animated, but the scenes where it's just the characters talking, they're very stiff and overly deliberate. Like there was obviously not enough budget to do.
You'd think with how
more
big
life
the
in
Owl
there.
House became, they would have put more budget into it. But whatever.
It seems like they just saved most of the budget for the action scenes. I think.
That's what they do in animes. To be fair, that's the anime approach. Save all the budget for the action, and then the scenes where they're talking just look a bit crap.
It's not really that different from the 80s Danger Mouse cartoon where the action is good but the interactions are cheap looking.
Yeah, and the 80s Danger Mouse cartoon also has David Jason in it, which is pretty funny. Because he's Del Trotter
yeah, it's
in
like-
Fools and Horses.
It's like, yeah, I do enjoy the Owl House, but it's like I far more often go back to the Loud House because it's just so life fulfilling. It's like it just cures my depression sometimes, like especially like I experience suppressed anxiety and just putting on a Loud House episode makes me feel better, like suddenly.
Well, that's good at the end of the day. I mean, it's good that the
And
show
then-
has positively affected people in a lot of ways over
and
the
and then
years.
and then there's Love Stings, where it's like you don't think Lola would engage with a skunk, but she does.
Yeah, because the skunk is very
was
refined
really cute.
and likes her stuff, but yeah.
It's just such a unique premise. It's like Prize Fighter is basically a sequel to Community Service, and Crown Dirty is kind of a sequel to A Star Is Scorned in some ways. And Love Stinks is like for this third one, they really innovated on Lola's character a bit.
Yeah. Well, I think it's sort of like, yeah. It's I suppose it's its own thing, isn't it? It's very different to anything we've had before. Like before this, we had obviously some episodes where she's making new friends, like with Melly in Community Service, Cricket in Fam Scam, and even the goth kids in what was it?
She's all bad.
She's
Yeah.
all bad.
Yeah, that one. Obviously, like, this is the first time where, like, she's not very enthusiastic about spending the day with this skunk, and she just expects it to not go well. And a really funny and sort of unexpected plot twist, the skunk ends up liking the same stuff as her. And of course, they end up having one of the most endearing relationships, like one-off relationships in the show. And much like with Melly and Cricket, I would like to see Antoinette come back at some point. I don't know what they do with her, but you know, I'm sure.
Oh
they can
man,
figure something out.
like I would especially like to see Cricket come back because she's voiced by the same actress who did Karen in the was it Karen in the DC superhero girls cartoon?
Oh yeah, Kimberly Brooks has been about quite a bit, and she also voiced Dodge in the Casa Grandes, if you remember her.
Oh I remember. Yeah,
Becky's girlfriend.
Becky's
a lesbian. She's got a girlfriend called Dodge.
Oh man, what was it with gays in this program? I love it.
Yeah, they do a lot of it. First they had Clyde's dad, and then Luna and Sam, and now they've got Becky and Dodge.
Actually, you know what? Screw you, Alana. I want to marry Stead.
Oh.
Yeah, sorry, mate. I don't go that way. Also, you basically, I'm going to have to edit that bit out because I don't tell people what my name is, but yeah.
Oh shit, I should, sorry about that.
Yeah, I'll edit that bit out, but yeah.
Or you could just bleep it out.
Yeah, we'll see. I'll decide when I do it, but yeah.
Just bleep it out, it makes it funnier.
Yeah.
It's like, and also, the episode Road Trip Screen Queen. Screen Queen. Screen Queen.
Yeah, I mean that was the fan favourite as far as I can tell. Everybody really loved that one, and it was a really fun episode.
Easily the best.
Although saying that,
it's easily worth watching. Just hear Lola's British accent.
Yeah, I mean, I will say this though about Screen Queen. As much as entertaining as it is, I mean, here's the thing: Lola wanted to. Like, she basically tricked the director into giving her a job as an actor, and then she didn't like it, so she sabotaged it. And it's like, Lola technically is the one at fault here. I mean, okay, the director's a bit harsh, but she's not really done anything wrong as such. Lola's kind of being the bad guy in this situation, if that makes sense.
Well, not really. Like, Lola is like learning just how ridiculously hard it is being a movie star, doing these stunts. The director says to, like, what was it? Put a fire stick in her mouth.
Something like that. I don't know. And then there was also a snake
and you see a burn mark on her in the next shot. It's like, my gosh.
Well, that is a bit. Yeah, I don't remember that bit, but yeah, fair enough in that case.
It's like, why are you doing this to a 7-year-old? This is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Shouldn't there be like rules in place for stuff like that?
I did not know that.
Yeah, and they also had like a snake that was apparently a prima donna on set or something. And she says, I don't work with prima donnas.
And there's also Beg, Borrow, and Steal, where she's kind of back to being a bit of a villain.
Well, they've always sort of gone on and off with that, haven't they? Where she'd be like a bit antagonistic. They've always played for gags the bit where she's a bit of a, you know, a little bit evil, a little bit scheming, a bit intimidating.
I love Beg, Borrow, and Steal. Alana, Beg, Borrow, and Steal is a great episode, isn't it?
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
It's like, especially like, this is a bit unrelated. I do like how that one kind of gives Lincoln an actual character flaw. Like, he can be full of himself when he's in David Steele mode.
Yeah, I guess so.
I mean, yeah, okay, so we're 50 minutes in, so let's wrap it up, because So, Lola Loud, great character, we could go on about her for ages, but I think the evidence speaks for itself at this point. She's easily a standout of the series. She's had tons of great focal episodes, and she's just a really great character all around, and she's FMB's favourite, and I think she's probably one of our favourites here. She's definitely in my top 3, maybe, something like that, top 3 or 4.
Alana, she's your second favourite, right?
Yeah, my second favourite.
And who are your favourites again, Gilbert?
Luann, Lynn, and Sam.
Okay, fair enough. But yeah, so I think we'll end it there. Lola's really great. That's pretty much it, really. So thank you all for being on this podcast. I didn't disconnect this time, so that's good.
It's great to have you again, Alana, like for the third time.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah. So yeah, it was really great having all of you. I think with all of us here, we've really worked off each other quite well. You guys all really worked off each other quite well in the last one. After I got unfortunately disconnected, you ended it pretty nice, so that was good. So yeah. What do you guys all think about Lola Loud? Let me know in the comments below, and we'll see you all next time.